Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing today?
Hello, sir.
This is Toki Busa filling in for the blonde broker. She is taking care of some personal stuff today, and I know that our other special guest, Melina, is on her way as well. She's currently finishing up a client call, from my understanding, but happy to be here.
Nice. I am just trying to connect my headset, so hopefully you can hear me okay.
I can definitely appreciate that.
Spaces hates me.
It's okay, Alia. I promise.
Yeah,
It'll get better one day, maybe.
I think so. Right, trying to go again.
Welcome, Trev. How you doing today? Thank you for joining us from Dora Hacks.
GM. Sorry, I think I was having some technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me okay?
Can definitely hear you now. Glad it's working out.
Okay, for sure. Awesome.
How's it going? How are things over at Dora Hacks?
I mean, we have so much cool stuff going on right now. Right now, I'm busy kind of putting the finishing touches and wrapping up everything for our big event in Singapore right now. We're hosting a kind of a 1 day summit, 8 hours, all alpha, all day, big projects, everybody from Eigen to Babylon to I think we might have Celestia there, but we have tons of different projects there, tons of different investors as well. And it's going to be at Token 2049 like the day before. So on the 17th. So if anyone's in town, you guys included, of course.
So you're going to be like the
Nice.
real kickoff event, is what I'm understanding it as.
I mean, you call it what you want. I'm not calling it that, but like I don't think we have any competition that day, and we gotta, you know, we got it's right where 2049 is. It's in the same general area. It's at Chimes Hall. It's like a historic. I don't know if it's a national monument, but there's a lot of rules that come from the government in regards to this place. But it looks like a giant cathedral, and they're like, we only do weddings here. It's like, well, you're expanding.
From weddings to Web3. It all makes sense in the end. I'm here for it.
It has a nice. It rolls off the tongue from weddings to Web3.
Can you guys hear me okay now? Is my mic working better or not?
Yes, you're definitely good there, Ollie.
Okay, nice. Nice. All right, cool. I think we got enough people here to get started. Um, yeah, Trev, thanks very much for coming. We obviously, I guess, for those that don't know, Trev is part of Dora Hacks. So maybe before I give like a bit of a Pryzm update, Trev can kind of introduce himself and Dora Hacks and kind of what they do for the ecosystem, and then I can give a little bit of an update on some of the Pryzm announcements, and we can go from there.
Yeah, it sounds good. I can talk some more. I can definitely talk. I love to talk. All I do is talk, actually. But yeah, so our company is Dora Hacks. We've been around for a while. We started with like in-person hackathons, but we pivoted to like online, uh, to an online hackathon platform. And right now we're one of the market leaders in hackathons and global hackathons online. We got 130, 40,000 developers on our platform, ecosystem agnostic. I'm going to try to speed through this as well. But a lot of major ecosystems use us or have used us in the past. tens of thousands of projects, or maybe well, actually, yep, projects have been built on our platform, which is really cool. Um, there's a lot of numbers here. I'm not the numbers guy, but we have tons of projects that have come to the platform, and we also do a lot of infrastructure stuff as well. We have our own chain. We built some really cool decentralized governance technology that a lot of the chains in Cosmos use right now. We do a lot of stuff in the realm of grants. I spearhead our public goods grants programs in Cosmos. So if you're a public goods project, I'm trying to give away money. I've never known it hard to give away money, but apparently it's hard to give away money. But if you're building public goods, reach out to me in Cosmos. We do all sorts of other stuff as well, to grants on other chains, to venture to. We do a lot of stuff actually. But if you're a team that needs help with hackathons, reach out. Happy to support good ecosystems and good founders doing great things. So that was a jumble of words, but
There you go.
we got a lot of stuff going on.
But it's, to reiterate people, it's like it's kind of Cosmos wide, sort of chain agnostic basically on the Cosmos, isn't it? It's not like specific chains, but then you run your hackathons in partnership with some chains, and some of that's funded through this sort of public goods funding, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we have different components. We have the hackathon element, which any team can come and run a hackathon on our platform for free. By the way, you can come and run your hackathon for free, and we provide the submission infrastructure, the voting infrastructure, all sorts of stuff on that end. And then we've kind of moved on to building our own kind of voting technology and grant technology that gets used in the interchain in Cosmos. We're agnostic in terms of agnostic, even outside of Cosmos. Like we work with a lot of big ecosystems, even outside of that, from Aptos to Clayton, and dozens of others. You can come and check us out. Doorhacks.io. I suppose I'll plug it.
Do it.
There we go.
I like
That
it.
was a good plug.
Cool. All right, and then what would I say? Yeah, we've got so everyone we have as usual, like please do like pop your questions today. Like we got a couple of things we're going to talk through, but like any general questions you have, please pop in the comments and we'll try and get through those at some point during the spaces, and then we'll fire off some AWU, some YAW, some POW, and some AWU boost or whatever to whoever asks the best questions, so you can have some fun on Pryzm and learn to yield trade. But yeah, like in terms of updates.
Ollie, I know you have a better AWU inside you.
I can't do it. I'm if I was I'm in public at the moment, so I think if I launch my
that's the best place to do
I
it.
don't know
if
I can. I need
while you're on a space in public for everyone staring at you.
I think so. I need to lose some sort of bet to do it or something like that. So we'll see how we go. But cool. Yeah, and then
well, then why don't you give a little bit of background on yourself, Ollie, and what Pryzm's doing right now?
Yeah, so yeah, like for people that don't know, we're a Cosmos Layer 1 that is built with a complete focus on yield, so everything to do with yield trading, yield tokenization, and we're in mainnet beta at the moment. What does mainnet beta mean? That means that we are the same way as you kind of find, I guess, in like a Web 2 beta program. It's not the full like incentivized launch. What we're doing is kind of launching with lower liquidity, giving people the chance to learn how to use Pryzm before doing our kind of like full incentivized launch campaign. And the reason for that is that we sort of believe that we don't want people kind of like YOLOing into Pryzm without having had the opportunity to use it before there's kind of like rewards and high yields and incentives. So we think it's kind of like best for users and most prudent if they can try out Pryzm themselves in a kind of like beta environment. And so the other thing we've done is we've airdropped all of the people participating, who've been supporting us through stake drop and the early users of Pryzm, a load of AWU tokens, and so that's kind of like their gateway to learning how to use Pryzm and kind of like receive some kind of like learn how to yield trade basically. So that's kind of like what we're doing. Like the big kind of milestone for us today was we've launched our referrals campaign. And so what does that mean? That means that if you're any sort of content creator, whether you're like a big content creator or you just kind of want to put a tweet thread together or want to create a video or want to publish an article or something like that, or even just introduce anyone to Pryzm, they're going to be able to put you now as their referrer. And that means that they'll be that anytime they use Pryzm during our launch campaign, they're going to earn rewards, and you're going to earn a bonus based on how much they use Pryzm. The slightly different thing we've done on this compared to other referral campaigns that you might have seen is that normally you just kind of get a referral code and people kind of shill a referral code at the end of tweets and threads and that kind of stuff. What we're doing is we're kind of like also adding in an ICNS element. And what ICNS is, for people that don't know, is the interchain name service. And so it means you link your wallet address that you choose. So it can be a fresh wallet if you want to for privacy's sake, or it can be your main wallet, whatever you prefer. And you can link your wallet to your Twitter address. And then that means when someone comes and joins Pryzm and is like, okay, well, who referred me, who introduced me, or who wrote a good article, or posted a good video or whatever, all you need to do is actually enter their Twitter handle. So you don't even need to enter their referral code. So we've just launched that now. Like, you kind of want to get people referred before the points campaign starts, because you're going to earn points as soon as the points campaign gets turned on. So yeah, for those that haven't checked it out yet, check out our link on our Twitter and give it a go and let us know how you get on. And then we've got and then in fairly soon you can expect our kind of like full launch campaign. And then the other kind of key updates are we announced our partnership with Ingera today. So for people that don't know, Ingera is producing a USDI, which is a delta neutral stablecoin that's very similar to Athena's USDE. So without getting into the technicals of delta neutral stablecoins, what it means is that you're going to be able to earn high and volatile yields potentially on a stable coin, and those yields will be correlated to the demand for leverage and perpetual funding rates on centralized exchanges. And so what it means is you'll deposit some USD and they will go and buy some Bitcoin and simultaneously open a short position on a perps exchange. And then that means that they're not exposed to Bitcoin price movements, but that they get to pick up the funding rate that you sometimes get or the highly negative funding rate that you sometimes get on centralized exchanges, because everyone's going balls long on Bitcoin on perps. But that basically means it's going to be a super interesting product to trade yield on. And Ingera are going to do a launch campaign where they kind of like reward yield trading on Pryzm for USDI, their stablecoin. So we're super excited about that one. And then we also, coming up soon, we'd announced before, is we have the droplets campaign for Drop Protocol, which is the liquid staking protocol on Neutron. Currently, they have liquid staked Atom, and what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to bring your D Atom over to Pryzm, and you're going to be able to swap it for more Y atom if you want to kind of maximize your exposure to earning droplets, or you're going to be able to swap it to principal atom if you want to kind of maximize your fixed real yield on atom and buy atom at a big discount. So that is kind of like the main updates of the things we got coming. So a few bits going on, but it's getting to the it's getting towards the exciting bit now.
Now, you did mention Atom there at the end, and it does seem like there's a pretty big discount on Atom on Prism right now. Now, can you confirm that there's actually guaranteed returns of around like 200? A lot of projects or coins or tokens in this kind of atmosphere are really guaranteeing 200%. How are you guys doing that?
So what happens on Prism is you take it, you drop in an atom token, for example, and in return you receive yield atom and principal atom, which are two tokens. The yield atom, if we use 1 year to maturity as an example, the yield atom will pay you out all of your staking rewards in atom for the next year. So it just gives you a right to the staking rewards for the next year. And the P atom gives you the right to redeem your 1 atom at the end of the year. Those are both liquid tokens that you can trade, and their prices move, up and down depending on kind of like market forces. And so what happens here is, one atom equals 1 P atom plus 1 Y atom. So if there's demand for yield atom, then it pushes up the price of yield atom, which means that P atom trades at a bigger discount to atom. So if we look at a really simple example, what kind of happened here was, say the 1 year P atom was trading at 90% of the value of an atom, then that means that the yield atom was trading at 10% of the value of yield atom. Of atom. So you had 1 atom, 0.9 of that value was P atom, and 0.1 of that value was Y atom. Now, because there was lots of demand for Y atom for some reason, that pushed down the price of P atom. So P atom went from being worth 90% of atom to being worth, say, 80% of the value of atom, and that meant the Y atom went from being 10% of the value to 20% of the value. And so because that happened, it meant that you're buying atom at 0.8 of an atom, and that means that in 1 year you're spending 0.8 of an atom now, and in 1 year you get 1 atom. And what was happening on Pryzm was because people were pushing down the price of P atom on a maturity that was nearer, so the September maturity, it meant that you were getting huge discounts on P atom, which when you annualize that ended up giving a 200% APY. I think I need to check the current values at the moment, but I still think you're getting some huge discounts right now on P atom. And so in those situations, owning P atom can be really good. And it is a real yield. It's like a guaranteed fixed yield, because I know if I spend 0.8 of an atom on one now, that's going to give me 1 atom at maturity. And I can either hold it to maturity or I can trade it and take profits when the market corrects. And so we had those situations, and in those situations, buying P atom can be great, and also buying the liquidity pool token that contains all the P atoms can also be a great way of getting exposure and taking advantage of that. So that was that. I hope that made sense. Tell me if none of that didn't make sense.
No, that definitely makes sense. Trev, it seems that you have like a question on that one. You want to go for it?
Yeah, all this seems awfully familiar. I feel like I'm having deja vu with Pryzm. For obvious reasons. Yeah, right. For P atom, do I get your governance rights with P atom?
Yes,
I do.
So,
right? Okay.
Yeah, so we need to turn that on the web app. But what we actually what p atom does is it actually gives you the right to vote on atom governance. And one of the kind of cool things about it is, say that say that there's a million atom tokens in Pryzm, for example, that people have, effectively they deposit atom tokens and they mint p atom and y atom. If p atom holders can vote on atom governance proposals, so like the Dora Hacks funding proposal or the Mars protocol atom atom proposal, atom liquidity proposal that's just happened. So what's cool about it is, say for example, only some p atom holders care about a vote going on in governance, then uh, if only 10 p atom holders voted on that proposal, then their votes would be voting with all of the million atom. So you get this 100x leverage voting power effectively. Whereas normally in atom governance, if you don't vote, your validator votes for you, and that's that. It doesn't give power to the people that do vote. It just gives power to the validator to vote. Whereas on Pryzm, if a million atoms deposited in Pryzm and only 10 p atom holders vote, they get 100x voting power. So kind of it's a sort of new way of kind of leveraged governance power. And I think once Pryzm kind of like amasses more atom or injective or osmo or whatever token, people will start kind of like paying attention to p asset holders or p token holders, because they're going to be wielding quite a lot of leveraged governance power, and they're going to be I always think bribing is a funny word with voting, but they're going to be there's going to be very high leverage to kind of bribing those holders, because 10 p atom holders can vote with $1 million worth of a million atom tokens or more, for example. Does that kind of make sense?
So you're saying people actually have the power this time instead of it just going straight to the validators. So that's pretty impressive right off the bat. But to think that only 10% could genuinely just like 100x their control over the system, that means you really want to be paying attention to this on the regular. Anytime you see votes coming up, if you've got your P atom, you should be genuinely paying attention because you have the power, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we as part of, as I guess many people on the call know, like as part of Stake Drop, um, we've run validators on 6 different chains. So Osmosis, Injective, Atom, Terra, Celestia, and Dimension. And like one of the things that we've definitely we've definitely noticed is like people will put up a proposal on one of those chains and then they'll message around the validators. So like there's a lot of like behind closed doors activities that happen that we sort of think is much better that it's transparent and out in the open, because people realize that validators hold huge voting power, and the reality is that actually that voting power should be with users and clients. And so like or like ultimately with the token holders. So like we kind of wish that those sort of behind closed doors dealings that go on, where you'll get messaged around by whoever's put the governance proposal up, and it's like, hey, can you vote for our governance proposal please? And actually sort of it should that should be going to p atom holders, and it should be more transparent, and there should be kind of like, hey, p atom holders, if you vote for our governance proposal, we would be willing to airdrop tokens to you, or whatever it ends up being. And all of this stuff can happen in a transparent kind of way. It is sort of our ideological view of it.
So it sounds like no matter what, if you hold Atom or P Atom, you're pretty much winning here. Because if you're holding Atom, you're getting massive returns along the way. But if you're holding P Atom, you're actually going to be a genuine part of the community. You get the voting rights. You're not worried about a validators like taking over your votes in any way, shape, or form. It really seems like you're getting the best of both worlds. Trev, what you got?
Yeah, actually, I like, I believe in governance long term. Like, I believe that decentralized governance super important, turnout super important. A lot of people don't care though, unless there's incentives. And I think that validators, we delegate to them not just for yield, but we also delegate to them for because we trust them. And if they're not voting the way we want, we can always redelegate. That being said, long term, I do like a solution like this. In the interim, it's possible to have low quorum counts and to not get like critical things passed, especially when like expedited gov proposals on the hub are a thing now, which we're finding out. You need to move fast. To some mobilizing people can be a challenge sometimes. Um, and the backroom dealings do happen. It's been happening forever. Political campaigns happen, and having to do them in the open forum, I think, makes a lot of sense to speak directly to the people. One caveat to the validator thing is like you can actually override the validator vote of your atom by actually voting. I'm not sure if people know that. If a validator votes the wrong way for you, like you can still vote and like your atom goes to wherever you vote. Uh, Question though regarding P atom. Um, so if I buy P atom and I vote for a proposal with my voting power, is that P atom somehow, do I have to lock it up in order to vote?
Yeah, so you have to.
Or can I vote and then sell?
So what you do, the way that it ends up working on Pryzm is you basically what matters. What Pryzm does is it aggregates all of the votes of everyone that holds P atom or C atom in this case, which is just the normal Pryzm's atom liquid state token. So what Pryzm does is it kind of aggregates the votes of all of those, and then basically there is a snapshot date just before the actual governance proposal on the, say, Cosmos Hub closes, for example. And at that snapshot date, if you're holding the atom or P atom token, then you can then your vote gets counted. So you don't have to lock up over any time other than the snapshot date. The snapshot date for C atoms actually just done for the atom LST is just done on just by holding it in your wallet. P atom for accounting reasons, you just have to stake into a voting contract, but you can immediately unstake whenever you want. So you only need to be you can vote before the snapshot, but your vote is only counted once the actual snapshot happens.
Very interesting. Very interested in this. Thanks.
No, I think it'll be. I mean, what we kind of want to have is, I mean, we mentioned it to the informal team when they were first thinking about Hydro. It's like actually like we've sort of built this governance bribing proposal here, and actually like we sort of don't believe the solution to get extra voting power is that you should have to lock your tokens away for a year or 2 years and take like huge price risk, because just because you don't want to take huge price risk doesn't mean you aren't a informed person who has would have a positive contribution to kind of like to make into governance. I think like, to be honest, like people that are going to lock atom for 2 years are like definitely a different breed, and like fair play to them. But I wouldn't, it's definitely not something that I'd particularly like to do. So I think we want to kind of like have this alternative solution, and obviously these things reach escape velocity when the amount of atom in Pryzm is significantly higher. But that's kind of like what will happen with hopefully happen with the launch campaign we've got. And I mean, at the moment, the reality is like there's nowhere paying a higher real yield on atom than Pryzm. Like you can look now, like you can hold a LP token that contains the atom, P atoms, and atom LST, and that's paying something like 37% or something at the moment. Like atom liquid, just normal liquid staked atom pays 17 or 18% APY, and if you hold a principal token, which is Atom at a discount, you're getting a fixed yield of 20 or 30% now. And if you hold the Atom liquidity pool token, pure real yield, you're getting 30 something percent, I believe. So like on top of that, if you start getting paid for bribes or you start getting paid for Pryzm rewards and Pryzm incentives, like it's going to be by far and away the highest kind of like real yield. And like what we part of the thing with like Dora hacks, for example, Trev, like we like public good stuff, like as we've spoken about before, like public good stuff obviously is super important to ecosystems. And I think like it's a lot more palatable for people to pay for things like public goods with yield rather than necessarily paying for it out of their principal. Because if you're kind of like, I don't know if it's just psychological, but like if I feel like if I'm giving someone something that I own, like just transferring it right away to their wallet, I feel like I'm sort of donating a big amount. Whereas if I say to someone, do you know what, like you can have a year's worth of my yield, like it's a public good service, like I'm going to keep my principal exposure and you get to have like my yield for a year or something like that. Like we think this is like hopefully like a really good way of funding things, and kind of like the big difference for Cosmos versus, or for the interchain I should say, versus say on Ethereum, and is like you have these proof of stake assets that have high staking rewards and good cash flows to them, and like repurposing those cash flows so they get transferred from willing donors or willing sellers to willing buyers, I think is a really positive thing for the ecosystem. And like that's why tokenizing the yield for a defined period of time kind of facilitates that.
It's definitely a different process, but it's one that I really appreciate because I can think of a plenty of times where you're putting in your initial investment, you kind of feel like it's a heavier weight on you. Where in this situation, your investment's going in and it's getting to sit there, and instead of you losing that right off the bat or potentially disappearing in some way, shape, or form, you're just giving away the yield into the investment pool that you're working towards. And I feel like that's honestly a lot easier, as you said, for people to handle. It doesn't feel like you're making maybe, let's say, as large of a commitment. And it really gives you the opportunity to see how your yield is being used and what's going to be happening along that time period. So it still feels like you're able to invest, but you're not losing your initial investment along the way. You're getting to just
Uh,
genuinely enjoy the benefits.
exactly, and like one of the first apps that will get launched built on top of yield tokens is effectively like a yield token launch pad where people can just deposit their yield token. They can withdraw it at any time, but they get to keep their principal token. They deposit their yield token, and they get to buy tokens in new protocols or buy points in new protocols. And the teams can fund themselves with the yield, and users get to receive tokens in the protocol, and that can be like pre-launch tokens, and the users can receive points or non-transferable tokens, or transferable tokens if the teams want, or that can be like post-launch tokens. So it kind of like it. We think it'll be a new way of funding lots of different things, and so yeah, a yield token launchpad is going to be one of the kind of like first main use cases.
Is this similar to? Is this like a rebuild of like Pylon?
So Pylon basically did, you would deposit, if I remember rightly, correct me if I'm wrong, like you would deposit UST, and your UST yield would buy you tokens in new protocols. Is that right?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So it could be something similar like that. But the difference with Pylon, you had to lock up all of your UST. So if you had $100 worth of UST, you'd have to lock up your full $100, and over the next year at Anchor's 20% yield, the $20 that your $100 earned would slowly be used to buy tokens in a new protocol. With Pryzm, what you're
Yeah.
going to be able to do is you're going to take, say your 100 UST gets split into a yield token and a principal token, or your 100 USDC or USDI or whatever it is gets split into a yield token and a principal token. You have a yield token that's worth $20, say, and a principal token that's worth $80. You're going to be able to keep your principal token, and you can provide liquidity with it, trade it, use it to borrow against or whatever you want to do, and you only need to deposit your $20 value UST yield token, and you can use that yield token to kind of like farm tokens in these new projects, and you'll be able to withdraw your yield token at any point if you want. And so it's like a lot more capital efficient way of doing it. And it also means that if I wanted to go levered long tokens in the new protocol with Pylon, I couldn't really do that because I only have 100 UST and I need to deposit that whole 100 UST. Whereas in this situation, if I've got 100 USDC, what I can actually end up doing is I can actually just swap that for 5 yield tokens if I want, and then I can like 5x my exposure to the new protocol. So it kind of like allows people to choose the view that they want. And the more demand there is for yield tokens, the like higher it pushes up the price of yield tokens, and like the bigger discount it starts giving on principal tokens. So it kind of like is kind of a flywheel effect that if there's big demand for one token, then it increases the demand for the other token because it makes it trade at a bigger discount. Does that kind of make sense? So it's similar, some similarities, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool that you're doing that. This kind of technology, like you mentioned, Terra was a thing. We tinkered a lot with these kind of mechanisms on Terra. We worked on a protocol where we kind of did this with charity endowments, right? Where you could do like perpetual charity funding in this kind of way, and like yield goes to charities. You do the same thing with public goods funding, same thing in the case that you're talking about. And then there's also like another crazy one that I don't think people have really cracked yet, which is like you could actually do this with like subscription models and like solve for subscription as a service as it is right now.
Yeah, I really like it.
So yeah, so really jazzed about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I think it's like we basically so we're doing this stake drop campaign at the moment. So we've done, for those that don't know, like we've not raised anything privately from VCs. We're like we really, really strongly want to democratize ownership of the Pryzm token as much as possible. We don't want to have private capital controlling a large amount of the token supply if we can avoid it. We would rather give tokens to a wider amount of community members. Like so far it's been working. We have 550,000 wallets that have participated in stake drop, which we're super excited about because we'd far rather do that than have 5 VCs controlling that same amount of tokens. But like one of the things we realized with that is we're running validators that have a commission between say 5 and 7.5%. And there's some people that are like, do you know what, I only want to spend a little bit of my commission. And some people that are like, well, actually, like if the commission was higher, and I could earn tokens faster if by paying a higher commission, I'd love to do that. And so that's part of the reason we think like a yield token launchpad works really well, because people can choose exactly how much of their yield they want to deposit into the thing, whether they want to get like full leveraged exposure to it or they only want to deposit a little bit. Whereas unfortunately with like a validator, you set the commission and that's it. Like that's the earnings rate for everyone. That, for each dollar that they pay in commission, they're getting 10 Pryzm tokens or something like that. I mean, another solution for it is you run a validate like Dora Hacks do. Like you run a validator that's 100% commission, and then people can delegate. Say if they want to pay 10% commission, effectively, they would delegate 10% of their tokens to the 100% commission validator and keep the 90% with a 0 commission validator, for example. But I think that gets quite complex from a UX perspective. And actually, just by building it on Pryzm, like there's a lot more kind of like customization projects can do for their like specific funding needs. And also, they can also start like on the Cosmos Hub, for example. It's not like we could mint token non-transferable tokens or NFTs for people that have been supporting us, whereas like on Pryzm, you can easily do these things. So I think it's like we strongly believe there's going to be like tons of interesting use cases for yield and yield tokens. We're like trying to create the primitive for that by enabling the swapping of yield tokens and principal tokens, and also like the tokenization of those tokens in the first place. And then like we think there'll be lots of interesting primitives that get built on top of that, and yield token launchpad is and yield streaming and yield swapping, yield funding. I think will hopefully be the good first proof of concepts for that.
I mean, from my perspective, it definitely seems like you're putting more power in the hands of the people time and time again. I know that maybe on the front end initially, it may be a little bit, I'm not gonna say overwhelming as far as the UX goes, but there are a lot of steps that you can genuinely take the time to understand and see where your money is flowing, but you're never losing your initial investment. So at the end of the day, that's still way better. That's way better than having to lock away your USDT or any other token that you've referenced at this point. And that's honestly the best part for me. Trev?
Yeah, this is just we can nobody has a crystal ball, but like, are there risks to the p atom component if somebody deposits like a metric ton of like y atom and everybody jumps to y atom, and then like p atom is super cheap because the community wants yield over governance, where in a big whale or something could come in and like pick up a lot of p atom and have a disproportional, maybe not disproportional, but like a lot of voting power for really, really cheap.
Yeah, like if they I mean, there'd need to be price movements for that to happen, which I guess like if I can't see how they would end up doing it without exposing themselves to like massive price risk, because then you need to get out of your p atom, and you can either get out of your p atom by trading out of it, or you hold it to maturity. So if something did happen, like if something like p atom was trading at 0.8 of an atom and y atom was trading at 0.2 of an atom, and suddenly huge demand for y atom came along, um, and pushed the price of y atom to say 0.5 atom, which meant p atom was trading at 0.5 atom, then yes, you might have people that want to get governance power, but you'd also have a ton of people come in and be like, hold on, like if this has got a year to maturity and I can buy one p atom for 0.5 of an atom, and I know that I'm going to get one atom out of it at maturity, yeah, I'm going to take 100% fixed yield or 100% guaranteed yield on my p atom. So it just makes it more attractive for everyone if the p tokens get cheaper, and vice versa with the yield tokens. Like unless there's kind of like some fundamental change in the inflation rate or staking ratio or whatever of the underlying asset, like huge demand for P token pushes up the price of that and makes the yield token look cheaper. So it's just kind of like people's market preference. Do people want to raise some cash by selling their right to future yield, or do people just want to buy a fixed yield because they want the certainty of having buying token at a discount and knowing the guaranteed yield that they're going to get? And these are kind of like the market forces that push around the prices.
I'm kind of enjoying the fact that you can really choose your risk. Either you can lay into it on the P side and you can get all the voting rights essentially, or you can go towards the yield side and you really, again, get to measure how much risk you want out of this. And so even if the prices were to vary, let's say, let's say if yield dropped down low and P was up high, people are genuinely going to take the opportunity to buy into yield, which then inversely causes P to drop down in price. But then you also have the low risk opportunity there of now being able to get that atom at the end of it, even if it is a year long. Uh, I really don't see downsides here. What is there anything that you could even see as a risk?
Well, you just have to be uh, comfortable with like the tokens the tokens you're buying, and like know what you're buying. And so realistically, like if I have one atom right now, like it's to me it kind of seems silly holding one loose atom when without earning any yield on that atom. So I would go and choose. I'd be like, okay, well, do I want to hold an atom liquidity pool token that's earning 30 something percent yield, or do I want to go and hold buy some atom at a discount and turn my one atom into 1.5 atom or 2 atom over the next year? That's what you got to do. And it's like anything. Like if P atom say is trading at half the price of one atom of an atom, so you can swap your one atom token for 2 P atom tokens. That at maturity you've kind of like doubled your amount of atom that you had. Doesn't mean like any token, like the price might end up going lower, in which case you could buy more, but because you're not leveraged, you can just hold your position and know that you're guaranteed that you're going to make 2 atom. There might have been an opportunity to change that into 3 atom, for example, which you missed off because you bought it 0.5 rather than a third of the value of an atom token. But like for me, the way that I look at it, if I try not to trade on Pryzm because I'm like because I see all these yields and I'm like I really want everyone from the community to trade it and learn it. So that's why I'll tweet them out and stuff like that, because it's because like there's good opportunities out there and I think it's great great people to learn. So like I don't trade too much myself on there, but like you might not catch the token perfectly and it might move a little bit lower than when you bought it, but that if you're going to hold it to maturity, that you're exactly what your return is going to be if you hold the principal token. So it's the way that I think is a good way of doing it is just setting a DCA on Pryzm using pulse trade, so you can sit there and say, right, like when the discount gets to 20%, I want you to start slowly buying the token. And so like if the token goes down even more, it's going to buy you even more at a bigger discount, but you set your threshold at which you want it to start buying the token at a discount for you. And that's like one of the trading tools that we're kind of super proud of is our pulse trade tool that allows you to set a limit price to buy a token at a discount, or swap from one token into another token at a limit price. So I definitely recommend people check it out, and that's part of the reason we airdropped everyone these AWU tokens, is so that they can go and try it out in a risk-free environment. Like obviously some cheats didn't read the medium and are wondering why their airdrop isn't worth $1 gajillion. But like the point of AWU is like it's a free way of learning how to use Pryzm, and it means that you'll be at a massive advantage when the points campaign starts. And like we want to help people in the Discord and the Telegram and teach them how to use Pryzm, and if they've got any questions. And then to your point earlier on regarding Pryzm, there's lots of new stuff for people to learn, which means new opportunities. And the volatility we're seeing in the market at the moment is providing some massive opportunities. So like anytime you see a bit of volatility, like I'd like recommend like open up the Pryzm web app and just see where prices and yields are, because there might be some like great opportunities to pick stuff up. And we're also building deploying like a light mode version, and so this light mode version is just going to focus on like these are the tokens you can buy in very much like a CoinGecko style way. This is just a simple swap page, and that's it basically. And this is your portfolio of the tokens that you own. And so the thinking behind that is like, for most people, like they don't want to be thinking about, do I mint this? Do I burn it? Do I need to stake it? Do I need to like unbond it? Do I need to bond it? And all of these like different sort of processes and stuff that you have to do. Like, when you're on Binance, you just pick a token you like the look. You look at a tokens page, or you look at CoinGecko, and then you just go and buy the token on Binance. And so whilst Pryzm can like handle all of the refracting and yield tokenization behind the scenes, you should just be able to like pick a token with an interesting yield, read what that token is, and then just buy that token if you want. So that's kind of like the way we're trying to do it. Trev, hit me.
One of you dudes is that a galactic punk that they're repping?
Who's got the Galactic Punk?
I don't know. Go take some Mo from your team. Is
Yes.
repping the Glide. I still have one. Should I keep it?
Okay, I'm getting Mo up. Mo, yeah, definitely. We are we're big fans of our Galactic Punks. So yeah, so Mo's rocking one. I've got a I've recently I had a bull for ages, Lunar Bulls, just for the nostalgia, and then we are, one of the things with the AWU token is you're going to be able to get you are going to be able to use that to buy Refracted Beasts
I need you.
NFTs.
I need you to do it.
No, I'm not.
I need you just once.
I can't. I can't do it. I'll get kicked out of where I am if I do it. The
You owe me one, Ollie.
but yeah, then the Refracted Beast NFTs. I've got one of those on my profile at the moment. There've been a couple of community members have like earned them, and they're going to be airdrop them as soon as the NFT's live. But the artwork's out. And the Refracted Beast NFTs are for people that have like learned to yield trade on Pryzm with their AWU tokens, and yeah, and they're going to be able to buy Refracted Beast NFTs with their AWU. So that is the theory, at least. And I was just thinking, were there any questions that we looking through the comments just before, because I realized it's heading up in the air.
I got a quick question, Ollie. Are you saying that it's the AWU token? Is that what we're talking about?
There we go. I knew you'd be able to do a good one. Your one's much better than mine. That
was sad.
That
was a sad one.
Now I want you to how would you do AWU?
Wow.
Okay.
Maybe something like that.
Okay. There we go. I think we should
see. I can do that where I'm at, and people won't. I mean, they will stare at me, but I don't care.
There you go. I think we should start. I don't know if we've got it enabled in Discord, but I think people should share. There should be some sort of prize for the best wolf howl in Discord or something like that if people upload their video clips or whatever. But yeah, I was just looking through the comments. Anything else? When Pryzm token and sex listing. Sex listings you're not allowed to talk about, as in you actually sign something with sexes that says you're not allowed to talk about it. So that isn't, if a project's, just a FYI, like if a project is ever saying we're going to get a sex listing or puts a sex listing on their roadmap or something like that, is probably normally a pretty big red flag that the project's just trying to pump things up. And for
wait. So you're saying you can't talk about it?
He can't talk about sex.
Yeah,
yes,
you can't talk.
That's right. He can't talk about it.
Very good, very good. So you can't talk about sex listings like as a sort of NDA type requirement anyway.
How old are you?
Abstinence is best here, okay, man. Abstinence is best.
Oh my god! Right, get your dirty minds off of that. And then we've got and then in terms of the Pryzm token. So yeah, the referrals campaign. That's going to give people time to introduce others to Pryzm so that they can get their kind of like referrals lined up before the points campaign starts. And then the points campaign is going to start probably in a couple of weeks. That's going to run for say a month or two is the plan, and then the Pryzm token is going to get launched after that. Everyone who participated in Stake Drop is going to get airdrop their Pryzm tokens when the Pryzm token launches. Everyone who participates in the points campaign is going to get airdropped their Pryzm tokens when it launches. So that is when the Pryzm token is coming. And then Nachandi 01, will AWU be in use after Pryzm token launch, or will it be replaced with Pryzm tokens? AWU is not going to be replaced. AWU has a special place in our hearts forever, and exactly
forever.
AWU forever, and AWU is going to have an extremely high yield, random yield forever. and it's going to be the way for people to learn to use Pryzm, and people are going to get airdropped Pryzm tokens based on how well they've been yield trading on AWU. And so that is it. It's not being replaced. AWU is a gas token on Pryzm. You can use it to pay gas. You're going to buy NFTs with it. You're also just, if you yield trade it, you're also just a bit of a legend. And so that is what AWU is for. So don't ever worry that AWU is going away. That's that. That is the questions, isn't it, for today? Has anyone got anything else they want to know? How we feeling, Trev? How we feeling?
Yeah, I gotta think. Shameless self promotion. I actually put the public goods grants in the event thing in the thing at the top. But I do have a question. So you're saying that you can't talk about sex listings because there's an NDA, and you are unwilling to talk about sex listings. And is the stake drop still open so I can move all of my Atom to your stake drop?
Yes, stake drops still open, and there's going to be sort of big rewards for people that kind of end up moving their Atom over to Pryzm, and you can actually move your Atom over instantly, and move delegated Atom over instantly using the liquid.
Redelegate.
Well, no, using the liquid staking module. So there's actually a button that you can just click that say I have Atom delegated to, I don't know, Coinbase's node, for example, and I actually want to move that Atom over to Pryzm. Most people think that you have to wait 21 days. You have to undelegate and then move your Atom over to Pryzm. Actually, the liquid staking module on the Cosmos Hub means that you can actually just instantly convert Atom that you have delegated on the Cosmos Hub to liquid staked Atom on Pryzm. So that's when the time comes, or when you see some good yield opportunities on Pryzm. That is a great way of just moving delegated Atom instantly over to Pryzm, so that you can buy cheap principal tokens, or the Atom liquidity pool tokens. So that is something I'd recommend. And then on your next point,
you're really making this easy for people.
There we go.
That's impressive.
We try. And then we got on the centralized exchange thing, like it's literally it's like one of the first things you do. You have a conversation with them, and they send you over a piece of paper that basically says you're not allowed to talk about it. If you talk about it, then you absolutely will not get listed. Oh
yeah, no. I'm aware of that. I was asking if you're not allowed to talk about it.
I can't.
Correct. He is not allowed to talk about it.
Trev is better than I am at pulling the alpha out. Look at that.
I don't know what's happening. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Is that right?
Whoa.
What do we do?
Whoa.
Think about it. I don't know. Think about it. No, I don't. I don't like for us. Like I don't. I wouldn't want to.
No comment.
Well, no, just like. I don't want.
Just say no comment.
I don't want people reading into stuff. Like we if we had an announcement or something, we'll announce it. Like we don't want we have.
This is CT. We don't do that. We don't do things.
No.
Never.
There you go. Right. Oh my God. Is that the time?
Run.
Brilliant. All right. I would say.
Ollie pulling out the clock.
Holy cow! That is the hour, isn't it?
All right.
Brilliant. Thank you,
Trev. How about you give us another shameless plug?
I think we have work to do. We probably have work to do. Everybody get back to work. But shameless self-promotion here. Come to Singapore App Chain Day. Come and check us out. Come and decide where money goes in Cosmos. Just go look at the link. I've talked enough. I don't know.
I think people need to
redelegate your Atom.
Hopefully this has made people think about cool things they can do with yields. And so if anyone wants to build cool platforms that kind of like use yield or repurpose yield or stream it to subscriptions or whatever, let us know and let Trev know, I guess.
Come and chat. I don't bite.
There we go. All right, nice one. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And yeah, appreciate it. Hopefully I've managed to record the space this time, so people who couldn't make it can listen to it. But yeah, thanks very much, everyone. And yeah, I'd say go check out the referrals link now and just quickly get your referral code at least, and enter someone else if you see a good link as your referrer. But yeah, go and check it out and let us know what you think. Thanks very much, everyone. Ciao.
Remember, there's probably already a code for action, so
Hilarious.
you can use that one
Hilarious,
at any time.
Toki.
Exactly.
Here's
exactly.
one question for you, Toki. What's the first rule of, sex listings?
Brilliant. Right. On that bombshell, we're done. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Have a good day, everybody.